Hello, this is Practiceit, exercise 12.7, writeChars. The problem reads, write a method, writeChars, that accepts an integer parameter n and that prints out n characters as follows. The middle character of the output should always be an asterisk, and if you are asked to write out an even number of characters, then there will be two asterisks in the middle. Before the asterisks, you should write out less than characters. And after the asterisk, you should write out greater than characters. So for example, the following clause produce the following outputs. So this is like the example that they give us. And your method should throw an legal argument exception if passed a value less than 1. Note that the output does not advance to the next line. Okay. So just for simplicity, I think we'll start by taking consideration of this, but before that, let's write out our function for our method. So I will write public void and then write chars that and then int n would be what's inside it. Excuse me. And so if our value is less than 1, so if n happens to be less than 1, then in that case we'll throw new illegal argument exception, just like that. And that's the proper syntax for that, so make sure it's in that format. Okay, and then we'll take into consideration of our first two things. So if our value happens to be equal to 1, then we will print 1 asterisk, so string asterisk, close that off, and then just do return. Okay, and then if we have 2, so if n happens to be 2, then we're going to have 2 asterisks, so system.out.print 2 asterisks, like that. Okay, and then now and then we will put in the return afterwards. Okay, and now we'll take into consideration of our greater than and less than symbols. So system.out.print, and then we'll put our less than symbol first along with our greater than symbol, like that. Alright, and then so we have these two down, right? But then how do we figure out when we need our greater than and less than symbols? So we're going to use recursion to figure this out. So when we use recursion, this will help us determine our even and odd values and when and how many greater than and less than symbols we put. Okay, so let's take a look at 5, for example, right? And in this case, we have our output should be 2 less than and 2 greater than symbols with just 1 asterisk. And the problem said that our odd numbers will have a single asterisk, and then our even numbers will have 2 asterisks, right? So we need to figure out what number we need to do what number we need to do recursion by. So again, going back to example 5, let's say we recurse it by 2. Okay, so then in that case that will switch over from 5, and then minus 2 is going to be 3, and then from 3 we'll subtract that by 2 again, which will be 1, right? So in that case, since we have a 1 for our value, we will recurse a single asterisk, right? And then looking at the stages that we went through to get that, each time we recurse it, then we're going to have a pair of greater than and equal to symbols. So that will have, since we went through the recursion twice, we will have 2 greater than and less than symbols, like so. And then just to show that the 2 works, we'll go into like 7, or we'll do an even number, for example. We'll do 6, okay? So when we have 6, we do -2 and then -2. We can do that 2 times. And then what we will do is, since we end up with 2 at the end, if we subtract it by 2 times, that would be an even number. So we will end up with 2 asterisks. And then since we went through the recursion process twice, we will have 2 pairs of greater than and less than symbols. So the recursion for this will actually be by -2, right? So we'll do writeChars and n -2, just like that. Pretty simple. And then just to show that this works, we will run this program and make sure everything's correct. And yep, all our test cases are correct, meaning we did everything correctly. And yeah, that wraps it up for this problem, and we'll see you next time.